Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video, I'll be breaking into my picks of the 5 most underrated vehicles that people really don't use enough in Grand Theft Auto Online. These vehicles are fantastic, whether you are trying to complete missions, depending if you can use them in missions or not, whether you're trying to get from point A to point B fast, or you are just trying to win a brawl. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and as always, this is an opinionated video, so you might agree or you might disagree, but these are my takes on what I think are really underrated and what I like to use a lot that other people really should start messing around with. So let's start off with a car, this being the Future Shock ZR380. Now normally, the Arena War vehicles are pretty mediocre, and it also doesn't matter which type you buy. If you were to buy a Apocalypse or Nightmare variant of the ZR380, you'd be quite disappointed, and that is because of the fact the frontal protection of this vehicle is only bulletproof if you buy the Future Shock. We can see the entire front of this vehicle is completely bulletproof. This makes completing missions absolutely fantastic and way easier than a lot of other vehicles in the game. I mean, this is the only car paired with the armored Kuruma that has fully bulletproof glass. The problem is the sides are not bulletproof, but at least the rear is as well. So you have very good protection. But this vehicle, unlike the Kuruma, is very fast. It is able to go upwards of 150 miles per hour when you use the rocket boost, actually allowing it to keep up with even HSW cars if you're playing on next generation console. That is absolutely insane. We can actually see the pure speed this vehicle has when you're using that rocket boost coming out of the back of the car. So it's fast, it features very solid protection, and it can survive upwards of 3 to 4 homing missiles before being blown up. I should also mention that it does have mines that you can drop out the back of the car, and these are EMP mines, which are really nice. It basically stops a car for around 5 seconds. So if there's somebody trying to chase you, you can just spam these mines all over the road, and there's basically no way that person's ever going to catch you, especially when this vehicle does go so fast. Pair that with the fact that you can obviously use your weapon around the entire area of the car, unlike the Duco Death and certain armored vehicles. I personally think the ZR380 is one of the more underrated armored vehicles in the game. I talk about it a lot on the channel, and there's a main reason why. It's because it is such a good choice. And plus, I just think it looks amazing. The Sparrow is known for being a fantastic helicopter. No matter where you are on the map, you can go over to Service Vehicles, you can go over to Kosatka, and press on the Sparrow. And if you own it, it will pop up right in front of you. It's very easy to call it in and super useful. But let's say for some reason your Sparrow is either, I don't know, blown up or you don't have access to it. Well, no problem. If you are part of a CEO and you own a Buzzard, you can also call in a Buzzard wherever you are, as fast as you can call in the Sparrow. Now, personally, I do like the Sparrow's capabilities more than the Buzzard. For example, the Sparrow can fire homing missiles non-stop, where the Buzzard can only fire 2, just like jets, and then you have to wait a short cooldown before you can fire them again. It also doesn't feature flares, but what it does have is, first of all, the ability to seat 4 people, and an incredibly dangerous minigun, which is very good at taking out other helicopters. The Buzzard, yeah, it's definitely a bit outdated, but the fact that you can call it in wherever you are as a weaponized aircraft is absolutely incredible and very useful. Plus, unlike the Sparrow, let's say you're leaving your agency or your office building, you can go over to Pegasus Concierge, and you can call out a Buzzard attack chopper for $500. This is really nice. You don't have to go down to the ground floor, call out the Sparrow. You're going to just instantly fly right out with your personal Buzzard from the roof of the building. This is very nice, very easy, and honestly makes life super fun. So that is one of the big advantages I do like about the Buzzard. Whenever I want to call it out, I just go right into an office building, start a job, and fly my merry way to wherever I'm going. As I said, there are definitely advantages for both helicopters, but it never hurts to have a backup, especially for how cheap the Buzzard is. Next up, we arrive to the Hauler Custom. This is an absolutely incredible truck. At first glance, this just looks like a big ol' semi-truck, and that's what it is. But the Hauler Custom has some stupid damage resistance, and because of that, it is instantly an S-tier vehicle. First of all, it's actually surprisingly fast, going over 100 miles per hour, which is pretty good for, again, a big semi-truck. But not only is the speed fairly impressive, it's really the missile survivability that allows the hauler to be hauling ass, is the best way to describe it. This vehicle can survive 69 homing missiles. Yeah, you heard that right, 69 homing missiles. I'm pretty sure Rockstar did that number specifically as a joke, but the amount of survivability this thing has is actually no joke. It is basically impossible to die while driving this truck. I remember when OG explosive machine guns on the laser existed, and there was a dude who literally did 3 separate strafing runs trying to clear me in this vehicle and couldn't kill me because it just survived so many explosions. Then all you need to do is pull out your explosive sniper and boom, knock them out of the sky when they're re-engaging on you. It's just such a strong vehicle. When you pair that with the fact that you can also just shoot directly behind you, and I should mention that the back of this vehicle has no windows, any way to damage it. You can also, like, just obliterate anything behind you. And the best part, and a lot of people don't realize this, is that the glass on the hauler is actually semi-bulletproof. We can see that here. If you try shooting through this glass, it's not going to instantly shatter, which means that it's also very hard to actually shoot the person driving this vehicle, and it gives them that necessary time to get around you and then nuke you from the back. My favorite thing ever is when people try to pull out an explosive weapon, maybe an RPG, and you just drive reversing towards them, and they blow themselves up on the vehicle. And obviously, it doesn't matter how many times they try and kill you with explosives, it's just not going to do anything. So because of that, the Hauler Custom is an incredibly useful tool. It's very good if you want to spawn camp tryhards and people that absolutely abuse the game. And if they do pull out their flying broomstick or something like an F-160 Raiju, they're just never going to take you out. I mean, it's just impossible. So because of that, the Hauler Custom is an S-tier vehicle. I think it is incredibly underrated, and I would highly recommend that people use it more. The F-160 Raiju is really the only aircraft you see flying around in the skies of Los Santos, and that's pretty common sense. It's got a stealth mode, it's the fastest flying jet in the game, it's got a great explosive machine gun. Why wouldn't you use it? Well, personally, I think the B11 Strikeforce would like to have a word with you. First of all, while the B11 Strikeforce might be pretty slow when it's flying, a little bit above the ground, that doesn't mean it's slow at all. In fact, when you're flying it above around 500 feet and you get a decent amount of altitude, you can actually gain a very high speed of around 170 miles per hour. We can see that speed here. We are going quite a bit faster now that we've actually gone above, I don't really know what level it is, but once you go pretty high up, you're way faster, and then once you get low to the ground, you're going to notice that the jet slows down a lot, and we can see that here. Now this is really nice for a couple of reasons. First of all, this slower speed allows you to easily control this explosive machine gun and blow up whatever you want to. The other thing is that the B11 has bombs, so it's really easy to just bomb whatever you want right on the ground, as we can see, when you're flying really slow. But the final reason I love this jet is because it's so slow when it's low to the ground, it makes it incredibly easy to maneuver and outmaneuver other jets. I have dogfighted a lot of skilled F-160 Raiju pilots in the past, and I beat them every time with the B11, mainly down to the fact, look at how fast this thing can turn. You cannot out-traverse this in a Strikeforce. Sure, you can fly away faster, but the problem is that you don't have any deterrence against homing missiles. So if you're trying to fly away from me in a Raiju, I just spam homing missiles at you, and you have to start turning your jet. And once you start turning your jet, that's when I can start to turn mine. I will close the distance on you and be able to take you out. And because of that, every single time I engage with a B11 versus an F-160 Raiju, I come out on top almost every time. And the best part is that you also feature flares, so you don't need to worry about missiles really hitting you ever. And even if they do hit you, this jet can survive 4 homing missiles because it's an absolute tank. So yeah, I love the B11 Strikeforce. I think it is incredibly underrated, and I feel like it is one of the best jets for taking out other players. Definitely a must-have. The final aircraft we will be talking about in today's video is the FH1 Hunter. This is a helicopter that I never see being used in the game. I see the Akula a lot, which makes sense. It is a stealth mode helicopter, and it's fun and all. But I think the FH Hunter is quite a bit better than the Akula, for a couple reasons. First of all, sure, it might not have stealth, but what it does have is flares. And flares are great, because if anybody tries taking you out of the sky, well, it's going to be very hard to when you're able to just deflect any missiles fired. Not only that, but you also feature the ability to survive upwards of 4 homing missiles. So it's not like you're taking this thing out anyway. It's going to survive a lot of explosive sniper rounds. You're not going to take this thing out very easily. Then there is the weaponry. First of all, you have a missile barrage, and this is what makes the FH Hunter so fun. You just absolutely annihilate everything on the ground. And these missiles reload very fast. So if I'm to, for example, hold the missile barrage, that's like, what, 3, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, there you go. So about every 5 seconds you can spam these missiles, and they are very dangerous. And the better part is, while you're waiting for the cooldown, you can just go to the normal homing missiles. So we can see, I'm going to do a barrage really quick, and then I'm going to swap over to normal homing missiles. And then I can keep shooting these, keep shooting, and then we can go back to the barrage. Because of this, you can just have a non-stop rain of missiles, and the homing missiles will distract, and then you can just barrage them. It makes this a very, very dangerous helicopter. When you pair that with the fact if you have another person, they can control an explosive machine gun, just like the Valkyrie. Yeah, the FH Hunter is really dangerous. It's also very fast and pretty maneuverable for everything that's considered. So yeah, I think this is an incredibly underrated aircraft. It's one of the lesser used helicopters in the game, but it's pretty dang good. Oh, and one other thing, it has bombs. I think this is the only helicopter in the game that has bombs, but as we can see, you can absolutely annihilate people with them. And this is really nice because you can just activate bomb mode, and then you can just sit still and absolutely bomb anything below you, and you can just spam these bombs, as we can see. So yeah, very, very dangerous helicopter overall. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with my video and the picks that I made. But I really feel like these are some super rare aircraft and vehicles to see being used, but man, if you do know how to use them properly, they can be absolutely insane. So as always, if you enjoyed today's video, please do consider smashing that subscribe button down below, and let me know what you feel in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!